Opinions can be formed with more and accurate information. Get all sides, views, and opinions on topical issues. Have your say on Perspectives. With Twin Alabi at 9 a.m. Mondays to Fridays on Invicta 98.9 FM. Perspectives. All sides, all views, all individuals are welcome.
Good morning and welcome to the program Perspectives. Perspectives today we'll be taking looking at two directions of how we'll go about the program this morning, and it's about issues coming out of the Nigerian state, concerns about what is playing out now, and Nigerians would just be surprised that things are going this way. It's no news now about the Super Cup, and when I say the Super Cup, I am talking about Abakari and what has come out, with the situation we have on ground now. Remember that he was indicted in the fraudster Ramonu that we all know as Hush Puppy. And now again, this that came up from the National Law Drug Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, that the Super Cup was involved in a drug ring. And that drug ring, we all know that is, the big haul that we saw with, the NDLEA officials who had smoked him out. And so we'll look at it, and then we'll look at what just happened in Abuja elections, the municipal council elections in Abuja, and the rebound of the PDP. Rebound, yes, that's how I want to label it today. Rebound of the PDP, and what this may portend, and what may come out of the 2023 elections. All of that, we'll look into it, and my guest already seated. My guest is Lawrence Ubewe. Lawrence Ubewe is the convener of Reset Nigeria, a public affairs analyst and a commentator on national and international matters. Lawrence Ubewe, good morning. Glad to have you with us here.
Good morning, Tony.
Yes.
I'm glad to be here.
I'm talking about the DCP Abakari, and not only the person of the DCP, but I'm talking about the institution itself, and what this is coming up saying about the institution. And I'm going back again to some things that have happened, the NSAS protest that we had, and coming to this, why the delay in getting the DCP Abakari to face the Interpol, so to say, talking about the security forces of the United States of America, why it took this long, and for now, the indictment as it is today. When this came up, what were your thoughts about it?
Again, thank you for having me. I think it's a nation of drama. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Unfortunately for us, we're here again, and it continues to point to broken institutions in Nigeria. I don't know what we're going to do, but I know that somehow we have to make sure that we get Nigeria right. The Abakari case is not a today's case. It's a case that has lingered for a while. I remember as far back as when the former notorious kidnapper Evans was arrested. In one of his confessions, he confronted Abakari and said even the confession that he made was the one given to him by Abakari. And during that period, he accused him pointedly that this guy is not the person you think that he is, that he's abating crime in Nigeria. But of course, the whole of Nigerians cried he was because he was a kidnapper and all that. If you take that apart, if you remember the other notorious kidnappers were one Dume, the one from Taraba. He also accused Abakari. And if you remember the Gestapo operation that led to the killing of some military men. So all fingers were pointing at Abakari. But because Nigeria saw him as the best thing that has happened to the Nigerian police, nobody took all those accusations serious. And here we are. He's now pointing out that it's even worse than we thought at the time. Now, if you look at, there has been theories. As you pointed out in your intro, he has a pending case, request for extradition to United States in connection with the Ramon Abbas Yahoo internet scam. The people have been waiting. At the point, the Attorney General said they had the case and they were now considering the option of extradition. There's a theory that is now saying, could this be to keep him here instead of taking him to the United States? It looks likely because it's a country of drama. Anything can happen. They can always give us something, a movie to watch. It could just be a movie. And I'm saying that with a sense of responsibility, because I don't think that anybody can convince me that over the last 10-15 years that they've not known that this kind of things, the kind of press conference that we watched yesterday, the kind of videos that he was recorded. And I was amazed. If you noticed, when you caught Super Cup, I was laughing. I think that's just a media buzz. Because if you watch the video, I don't think that any Super Cup, an intelligent, a spy cop, will walk into another person's car to go and collect money. I think that's elementary policing. You make sure you avoid, because the first thing when the person tells you, let's go to my car, if you're a Super Cup, the first thing that comes to your mind is, no, is the car wired? So you take the person to where you have comfort and he has discomfort. But for him to have walked easily. Then the other striking thing, I don't think there are a lot of Nigerians see it. I keep saying it, that religion in Nigeria is just aroused. Nobody cares about it. If you look at that statement released by the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency yesterday, there was a portion that talked about when he was to meet the NDLA guy. He said after Jumat. So he went for prayer and came back to come and discuss drug deal. And it's typical of Nigerians. You go for a meeting, they start the meeting with prayer, they lie through the meeting and close the same meeting again with prayer. People go to church, come out, go for criminal activities. You remember the story of Evans. They said every day he held morning devotion, he asked for protection, then he goes for kidnapping. So in Nigeria especially, people have taken religion to be a title. If you are not a Christian, you must be a Muslim. If you are not a Muslim, you must be a Christian. Nobody cares to even reverence that God that stays behind the shield of the religion. And I think that press conference we watched yesterday was another depiction of the negligence and sheer, I don't know the right word to use, that we attach to religion in Nigeria. And that's very disheartening. I think that was the major part that got me really worried yesterday.
That after the Jumat more.
Yeah, you now go and do crime.
Yes. Again, Lawrence, when Americans had that coinage for Super Cup, now when they use that on anyone Super Cup, now how do you look at that personality that's been described as a Super Cup?
First of all, it's somebody who's above board. Then it's somebody in terms of integrity. Then it's somebody whose intellect is extraordinary. One of the things that we should question is, don't forget that this guy had what do you call it? The Senate of the National Assembly honored this guy. If you calculate the cost of sitting that day he was honored, it will go to about ₦1 billion to honor this guy that he was a Super Cup. Now the questions to ask is, was there no investigation into these guys? As I said, I don't think that these things that are coming out now just started yesterday or the day before yesterday. We saw his involvement with Diobi Kubana, and I believe that this will lead to more arrests. So, was there no investigation? On what basis was he honored by the National Assembly? It's been more than 6 months he's been facing trial. Has the National Assembly tried to resign that honor given to him to say, okay, pending this investigation, we are withdrawing this honor? So we are killing the institutions in our nation in the name of. So when America describes you as a super cop, it means that you are above certain parameters for measurement. And as I said, for him to have walked into a car that is not his own to go and call, I think that that's below the parameters to even judge somebody who's supposed to be a cop. So I don't know where the super is now coming. But again, the juries are out. If the information we are getting today, we are not getting it. Probably I'll be sitting here also singing praises, because when you talk from obscurity, from the unknown, what you see is what the media make you to believe. But I think it's really, really disheartening.
Let's look at the institution. It represents a powerful institution that's, has been with us, and again, this dent that this would have on the institution. And I am referencing this on the EndSARS, why Nigerians protested, lives were lost, and even the government, was really, put, at a crossroad on matters of the EndSARS. And here again, a DCP, of the police force indicted in all of these, and again the institution. What more can we say about this institution that the public should rely on and give all support to?
I think, especially when it comes to Nigerian police, I don't think that there's anybody who has a doubt as to. I think what he confirmed yesterday was the fact that not only the rank and files, that the whole hierarchy of police is the same. We already know what the rank and files is. From time to time, I visit the police station. If you see the level of torture they give to suspects, you begin to wonder whether these people are already proclaimed criminals even before trial starts. So we already know, we are now about the extortion, we know the intimidation, we know that most times they kill people at that lower level. Probably what Abba Kyari is bringing to board now is to tell Nigerians that what you see below is the same thing that is above. Because he represents the senior level. I remember a year or so ago, people were even touting him as the next possible IG of police. So he was that revered. Everybody was expecting that one of these days he would just emerge as the number one police officer. But he's now put into question, even though it's always been there, as to the kind of public institutions we run. And don't get me wrong, it's not just the Nigerian police. If you go to the judiciary, it's also the same thing. Sometimes I go to sit inside the court to listen to cases. You continue to hear suspects or defendants claiming that statements given at police stations were under duress, that they were forced on them, that they were saying different thing, and the policeman who was recording a different thing. So you go to court, you see court bailiff swear affidavits of lies. So if you look at the whole institutions of government, I think that's where we are. And I always say that we have worked hard to be where Nigeria is. It's not by accident that we are witnessing everything we are witnessing today. This is the result of the hard work we have worked, but unfortunately, negatively.
He works with, or he had worked with a particular sector of the Nigerian police. That's about the intelligence, area. And you begin to wonder, for a man in this particular sector of the police, and indicted as it is today, one begins to wonder again, what more can we expect of the police, entire police force?
I think the police, we already know it. I don't think that there is anybody that's shocked. That's what you see from the Nigerian police. I don't believe that even if you look at the drug cartel that they said he belongs to, I don't think that he's alone. I think there are people above him who will be settled, because I don't think it's something that you need to understand the nature of this, especially the drug business. Let's leave the Yahoo. Maybe he's there is just to cover. But this one, when somebody brings illicit drug into the country, their role is, because at the airport, that is where the search happens. So their role is to get into the person. According to them, they send pictures and all that. You get into there, take the drug yourself, take possession of the drug and walk. Then as a super cop, you are not expected to be searched, because they feel that you are even there for law enforcement. And it's a very significant role that can have consequences even in the international communities. Because all around the world, people are battling this illicit drug business. If we are now using institution of government to cover it, to make Nigeria a heaven for illicit drugs, then it has consequences on the country. It means that Nigeria now will be isolated as a pariah state, where even government officials are neck deep in it. So the consequences are very there.
And do we see and know the consequences of all of this? Because some people have described the drug situation in Nigeria as epidemic, and that, what are not just the young ones are into today, I mean, it cuts across. And that, haven't looked at other activities that we will say of government, that looking at security situation, not there, looking at corruption, and looking at all of the things we look at with the Nigerian situation today. But have we looked into drug as it is and its consequences on our young ones and even of the old using drugs and what it has turned out to be for young ones? Ambitions have been killed, careers have been destroyed, and even the work place is not safe with those that are involved in drugs. And so looking at it as a whole, drug and having Nigerians as users and the consequences of it on a developing nation.
Well, I think that you now categorize drugs. There are some like
illicit drugs.
Illicit drugs.
Yes.
You have this one now that young people take, which are cheaper. But what we are talking about Bakari is the most expensive one, the one that the high echelon in terms of class use. And the first question to ask, they always tell you that if there is no buyer, there will always be no seller. Because the seller brings his goods to the market. If nobody buys, he's not going to buy the next one because he's going to lose profit. Lose capital, not even profit. Now, if you talk about, let's say, the cocaine, it means that the political class are the major users. Because if you look at the kind of money that is being called $61 million, 5 million, 7 million per kg and all that, and I think even at that is at the business level. I think that that's less than 10% of what cocaine is being sold for. Now, if you look at that point, then that can tell you the class of people who use it. So it's not for the lower class. But again, when you categorize all of them as drug, whether it's Impurumi, whether it's Shaki, whether it's even smelling the gutter and all that, then you begin to understand why we are at the point where we are in Nigeria, where we have to deal so much with insecurity, banditry, all level of insecurity and all that, where we are dealing with indiscipline in general. Because you go to school, you see students who we hope will be leaders of tomorrow. You see their behavior, and you don't want to be around that tomorrow to see what they become, because you can already tell tomorrow from today. It's a big problem. Then I have problem with leadership, because I expected that by now, if that's a deputy commissioner of police is involved in this high level of crime, the presidency would have spoken by now. Because it's something, as I said, that has implication in the way Nigeria is viewed from the international community. So the president by now should be exonerating the government from the activities of one or a group of people. But the silence is looking as if this is all we are. There is this also theory. Don't forget that this NDLEA is now manned by a former general, Buba Marwa.
Yes.
There's also a theory whether it's the dice, whether we're about to see a new major contender in our political class. So, Nigeria is the theater of drama. So you can never say what is happening. Everything will unfold with time. We'll continue to see. I think that there are more to this than we are seeing already. I think that there should be a lot of connections. If you think that Abba Kyari is the deputy commissioner of police, I think there should be assistant inspector generals of police that will go down on this, because I don't think that Abba Kyari will be acting alone.
There's something again. Let's talk about the NDLEA and this hall. And it's been said, they acknowledge that it just didn't start today. This has been going on, and so for those that will, because this will be about betrayal. This will be about securing the officers too who are involved in these lives and all of that. For this, and the NDLEA, as with its operations now, how safe can officials of the NDLEA be?
I think I don't think they've ever been safe. I think it's been the same thing. When I was growing up, I used to, when my grandfather was in the hospital, I saw a lot of the NDLEA guys who were either shot in their arm or leg or chest or somewhere, always taking treatment in one hospital in Jos then. So I don't think they've ever been free. I don't think that it's going to be worse. When you enlist in such form, it's like getting into the Nigerian army or any of the military. They say, you are out for war. The criminals are not going to make it easy for you. It's either you kill me or I kill you. It's the same thing with the Nigerian Customs Service. I don't know how much in terms of intelligence. I don't think I feel very comfortable with as much information that was divulged yesterday about the operation. I think that there were certain information they should have held back. I don't think that everything they gave to the public was actually necessary, because I think a simple statement detailing what was his own role, removing like all those car operations and all that, I think that would be exposing some of the officers to danger. But I think that they should have done their homework by now. It's one force against the other, but there should be a general and there's a commander-in-chief of Nigerian Armed Forces who at his level can coordinate what is happening. So it's a matter of giving the police marching order, giving the NDA marching order. This must not escalate to war. We have seen police and soldiers fight. So there is that rivalry between forces in Nigeria. So I don't think that there's any new challenge is going to pose, apart from what we already know. It's a war. It's a war. Once you carry gun, you're at war with the next person. So the criminal gets you or you get the criminal. So I think it will remain like that.
Well, right now, what we know is that we all do know about, going back to the Ramon Abbas issue and hush puppy issue on the same man, the DCP Abba Kyari, and now about extraditing this man. It has come to, it's in the public glare now, and the U.S. would be also interested. For Abba Kyari, a man that will not want to go down alone, and what are the implications of this if we have to get him out of the country?
I was surprised that he was picked up like a chicken. I was having a discussion with people. I say at this point, if I were the guy, I won't go down alone. But the way they picked him, then it tells you a story also. There is a theory also that maybe he has stepped on certain toes. If a guy that has been on suspension for a while now has a request for extradition from the US, nobody is saying anything. Then within hours of NDLA making a statement, and he's just taken like a chicken and taken to the office, he tells you that maybe he has stepped on dangerous toes. And that's why I'm telling you that I don't think he's alone. Will the extradition happen now? I don't know, because there's a theory that this might be just to stop him and say, hey, US, he's facing a trial here, so let's concentrate on this one. And I think for Nigerians, this will be a bigger one. The drug thing will be a bigger one than the US one. Don't forget that the US one is around Ramon Abbas, the very notorious hush puppy, the big boy of it. And I think the ladies would have missed him this Valentine because he would have been giving giveaways.
The program is Perspectives, and we're talking about this big break, so to say, and of a Nigerian police officer, senior officer as it is, and of course the consequences on it, about the institution of the police. That's what this first segment is all about. We'll go for a break. When we come back, it will be about the other segment. Wait until we come back from this break.
Invicta FM.
Welcome back. Is the program Perspectives this morning, and the first segment of it, we looked at the DCP Abba Kyari, and of course the unfolding drama of the drug haul, and of course the drug ring too that he's been involved in. And this second segment is going to be as brief as we can take it. It's about what happened at the Federal Capital Territory. We're talking about elections that took place there last week, and the turnout. I am particularly interested now in the PDP, and what we're saying, and some analysts are looking at, could this be said to be a rebound of the PDP? Because of the three areas that were, taken by PDP, these were strongholds in the capital, Federal Capital Territory, and of course one that involved even the presidency too, that was taken by the PDP. And so, would this be signs of what to happen or what will happen in 2023? And we're looking at a situation where the APC, before he came on board, had accused the PDP of misrule, and and so they were coming to correct all of that. And the PDP now is saying that the mistakes you accused us of are the same mistakes you're doing now. So we're coming back. And so taking those municipal areas in Abuja, could this be a rebound for the PDP, Lawrence?
Well, I don't know whether it's a rebound. All I know is that it's an indication that Nigerians are ready to have a say in the next election. I think is a pointer of how Nigerians actually feel about the country as of today. Whether PDP will now, or any other party, will take up the opportunity. It's just showing that the opportunities are there. But what they do with the opportunity will determine whether it's for PDP or for any other person.
Well, again, we're looking at other elections coming. Ekiti is on the way, or Osun is also on the way, and we've seen this happen. Kaduna State is not short of what we're seeing with the FCT. We also know that, again, with what happened in Edo State, all these are indicators that could the PDP be doing a show to say that Nigerians are maybe, making a decision that would be, considered that the PDP would give the ruling party a good run for its money?
Well, I don't know. They always say every election is local, whether it's PDP or APC. If it's area council election, the two people there will be people who are from the same area. So some of these dynamics play a role. For instance, if you come to a local government and the people feel that the popular candidate has not been chosen in their own political party and he has moved over to the other one, there are tendencies that they decide to say, okay, let's follow the person there. That might not necessarily mean that in the next general election, where probably they are not going to know who the president is personally, that they are going to continue the trend. They might still come back. But I think there is an opportunity for any serious political party to begin to look at the gains of such election and now look at what is driving those transition and movements and begin to build structures that can help them hold it. As I said, it's an opportunity. It's showing that Nigerians are very upset, that they are not very comfortable with the APC. But how much the opposition will want to take, and now I don't think it's fair to refer to only PDP. Is ready to take it. Is now what we'll now look out for. Are they really ready? As at today, I don't think that PDP is in the right frame of mind for anybody to believe. Because if you look at the internal wrangling, just for zoning political offices, if you see the drive, the northern drive led by Atiku Abubakar and the southern as led by Governor Nyesom Wike of Rivers, I think that if that is not well managed, I think that it will probably destroy the party.
The PDP as itself, does it have things to really, sink into Nigerians? When I say sink into Nigerians, then I mean like telling Nigerians that these are the things that are on ground, because we saw APC do that in 2015. Can PDP press on that to say that, this is what is on the ground, and make the choices, and the right choice maybe to make would be like bring us back?
Before 2015, I think that they will hardly have anything to say to Nigerians. But I think that unfortunately for citizens, the APC has been so bad that PDP is now considered an option. So I think that a lot of Nigerians will accept the PDP of 2014 as a salvation for what they are saying today, because the APC at the national level especially has been very, very poor. But if there is any new thinking, I think that that's what should be discussed. I think at this time of politicking, we should be talking about bringing things you're going to do differently on the table. Unfortunately, what they keep telling us, the PDP, is the economy they left for APC, the job they left for APC, the unemployment, the inflation, and all that. So, which is now telling you that is now a choice between the devil and the deep blue sea. Is a choice between bad and worse. Take one. So I think that they will continue to rely on the things we considered failure, but today that we are looking at that maybe it might be a better salvation than what we have. So, but I expect them to now up the tempo, come out with a plan. I don't think up to now they have plan. I think that what they have is leadership crisis. Because you hardly even hear about the chairman, the elected chairman. That's Senator Iyacha Ayu. What you hear about is either a Wike or an Atiku, and I think that that's bad for the polity.
Something came out again of the election, the turnout. Yes, we saw the PDP taking, some of the councils, but the turnout again was said to be low. low turnout. Again, we do a projection on 2023, even though some people said the fuel shortage that we had could have resulted in that. But again, are we seeing this nonchalant attitude of Nigerians to say that, well, who cares? You know,
I don't think there's any doubt that citizens' morale is very low. I think that they have invested since 1960. I'm not sure there is exactly anything they can point and say this is our gain. So it's now left for the political class to win back the confidence. As it is today, I don't think there's anything they can do. However, one thing that is coming out now, if you look at the trajectory from Anambra to FCT, is the fact that our elections are beginning to look cleaner. So that might now serve as motivation for citizens. And when you talk about PDP winning, I don't think it's majorly about the work they have done. I think it's more about the reforms that is going on in INEC. And the point that election in FCT area council made is the fact that if you look at what happens in states during local government election and look at that, then you understand why there is increasing clamor for INEC to conduct the local government election. Because once you can get the local government election right, things will not be as bad as they are today, because that's the closest level of government to the citizens. So what you are saying is improving, and that's why we keep asking Mr. President to please assent to this one, because this will finally give legal backing to some of these reforms, and we can be sure, because he is not just going to tell people come out. For instance, just Mr. President signing that electoral bill before him will boost people's confidence that, okay, because if you look at what has happened in Anambra, you can talk about the hitches, the malfunctioning of the new machine, the little violence and all that, but nobody questions the result of the election, which is the most important thing. Now, when people challenge it on the laws establishing that, and it gets to the Supreme Court, just technicalities might ruin everything that has been achieved. And that's why Mr. President needs to assent to this electoral bill, so that there will be full legal back into it, so that INEC can now be allowed to conduct the election in the best way they can. That alone can boost people's confidence and bring them back to the electoral circle.
The options that Nigerians are faced with, some analysts will say, yeah, I heard you say that too, the devil and the deep blue sea.
Yeah.
But again, can we have any, alternative to...
I think so. I think so. If you look at what's happening in the PDP, there's already sharp division in the PDP. If you look at what's happening in the APC, I think it's kick of gunpowder. Everybody is just holding breath till 26th of February. And it's not looking like, again, the power tussle between the Tinubus and the remaining. The northern part is only quiet, watching the scenarios. If you see what's happening in the APC and what's happening in the PDP, and the underground move by the pious Pat Otomi and others, Senator Kwankwaso and all that, to bring a renaissance, bring a new political ideology to the table, I think that there might likely be a third force. Again, same players, but with a different name. Will they be able to, within the shortest possible time, garner enough support to be able to upstage the ruling party? It might be possible, it might not. It was in 2014 that APC actually came to birth. By 2015, they dislodged the PDP. Can something like that happen? It's possible, but it will depend on the players.
Let's hear you on this. Coming to the audience now. Let's get to hear you on this on 081 40,000 989, 081 40,000 989, or 070 87 800 989, 070 87 800 989. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
Lawrence, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
This Engineer Manuel, you have done justice to this topic. You see, concerning Abakari, they say every day for thief, one day will be for the owner. I believe there are many of Abakari out there. Remember the case of the late senator? That is how they were dragging it. I believe this elite, there is a saying that if salary will not be enough, overtime will never be enough. Is it not just exactly what happened with the governor of Kano State, where we saw him putting dollar, and instead of the president to admit, he's telling us he does not know how they do this technology. When I was watching the video, how they were transacting that thing with Abakere, with whatsoever, technology has gone beyond what we are thinking. I just hope you will face the music. That is on that. Then concerning this issue of politics, Mr. Tualabi, this is an indication to tell you that people are just waiting for 2023 to come on board. Because if you can see, the both parties, the strong ones, they are not in everybody. This selfishness, I want to be. Those people you never least expect will come on board and take power. If INEC will just do the needful. To tell you that this present administration are not ready to give us free, credible election, what is still delaying the electoral act bill to be passed? Remember in the channel, Mr. President say he has no business with 2023 election. So tell you that no problem. The people are watching and waiting patiently for 2023 to come on board. Okay. God bless Mr. Tualabi.
All right. Okay. All right. Still with your calls. Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, Sir Tualabi.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guests at the studio there.
Good morning.
My name is Comrade Gabriel, the Tesla man. Sir, on local government elections, sir, at SPC, to me, the only party that won in that election is PDP. The rest of the people that won, they won on their personality, just as what your guest is speaking. They won probably on their personality. So we are praying seriously that what happened in Abuja in the local government election should equally go around. And if the two political parties could put their house in order, just as what your guest is saying, I think something good is going to come, and we are going to come out of this issue. On Abakari, sir, this issue needs to be properly investigated, just as what your guest is saying. Because I don't know what is happening in Nigeria. Anytime a national issue comes, you see another one come to divert our attention. See what happened to the imported, adulterated fuel. Now Abakari issue is on the ground. And even recently, the government said that they are in position of about close to 90 people that are sponsoring these terrorists. So we don't know probably whether this thing has anything linked with that. So let this country, the president of the country, should come out and address the nation. In fact, even the adulteration fuel, though it's not part of your discussion there, it's an issue that needs national attention, the apology from the federal government of Nigeria under the president, because if we talk about what is happening with the vehicle, what of human effect? What effect in this whole country? Because nobody knows the effect of that fuel on us as human beings. So we are praying seriously that let the government of this country, if it's sincere enough, let us come out openly, apologize to Nigeria, and make sure that those people who are involved, because today, even the market they say they accuse them of, they say they are not the people who imported this for it is NNPC. Okay. So there's a lot of issues that we pray that this government should address.
Okay.
Even if the APC is going out, let us address this issue properly.
Thank you very much,
sir.
Thank you. All right, one more call. We'll come back to our guest. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Mr. Tony. Good morning.
Good morning.
You are speaking to Mr. Jibril from Nasarawa.
Jibril, okay. Jibril.
Thank you very much.
All right.
The local government election that was conducted in Abuja, to my own perspective, it is not the election that was conducted. The people that voted, they vote on ethnic and personality. Not that it doesn't mean it is only when you vote. When PDP win election, that election is genuinely conducted. That's another way of introducing them. That's another sentiment again. Those who are claiming that the PDP winning election that is genuine, that's another way of exhibiting sentiment. Historically, we know that no party rigged election at PDP, right? It is not. It doesn't mean it's the only election that win by PDP that is genuine. Some people have just praising PDP. I've been hearing election in Abuja is genuine. It is the worst election. Moreover, those areas that PDP won election in Abuja, previously the same PDP that won, the people that vote in those areas, they vote along ethnic and religious sentiment.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Yes, they are put along ethnicity.
Okay.
And these are the things that we advocate for to be eradicated in Nigeria.
All right, Mr. Jibril, we got you on that. I'll just squeeze in this one call and then come back to my guest. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I think it's Lawrence on with you there. I'm calling my name.
That's good.
You see, Mr. Aloy, take it or leave it. I keep on saying this thing. Politicians are defensive. Now that they've seen the PDP have started getting it right, they will run again from that APC, coming back to PDP. But they will not get it easier with us. In as much as APC have not stopped complaining for the past since 2015 up to now, instead of them to put us at the right track, they refuse. Keep on complaining. They will not get it right. Even PDP should come after 2023. Nobody should take us for granted now. That's just what we are now.
Okay.
Can you imagine that of Jama? There is no complaint. The new chancellor that take over, he didn't complain of that woman. In France, the same thing. In Australia, the same thing. Why are we so sensitive in this country? If it is not your own, it's not your own. Nobody cares to tell. Those that have been hired by APC to be telling us what we are seeing in this country, they should stop telling us that. Me, I've suffered a lot in terms of insecurity. In as much they will never give me, I will not go with my 2 eyes closed. They shouldn't be telling me that. That's just that. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much.
We got you on that. Lawrence, you had them.
I think that one of the callers, I think is Comrade Gabriel, talked about whether this could be linked to the funding of terrorism, and I think that's spot on because we are talking from the blind side. We don't know what the government knows. Because the intensity with which they are chasing this Abba Kyari thing will tell you that there is something bigger than what we are looking at. So could it be that some of these drug cartels are the ones funding terrorism? Every day they promise us they're going to name the terrorists and the funders of the terrorism, and they are never doing it. So I don't think it's a PDP APC thing. It's the citizens thing and the institutions that conduct election. For the FCT election, let the president sign the electoral bill, let it become an act, empower INEC to look for other improvements and reforms in the system that can improve our election. If that happens, it is now open to APC, PDP, or whatever party that is ready to go and work its magic, convince Nigerians to vote for them. The only thing we don't want, I don't want to see personally, is the fact that people get undue advantage because we are already looking at institutions of government that are broken all across. It's not just Nigerian police. You go to the judiciary, you go to INEC, it's the same thing. You go to education, it's the same. You go to infrastructure. Every institution of government is broken. People are now compromised. Everybody has got a price in Nigeria. So what we need are systems that can resist those temptations. Systems that will not depend on human manipulation. Let it be those that are system based. Once we can get that, we can begin to build trust and confidence back on citizens to participate in the election. Until that is done, because it's very disheartening that you do an election of 2 million voters and 20,000 come and elect people, and the choice of 20,000 now presides over 2 million, which is about 1%. So we need more people to come out and make those choices. That's the only way that people who are elected can have legitimacy. Because if you're elected by 20 people, I'm not sure you can claim to have the legitimacy, because it's just 1% of the population, and that's my take.
I'm still some time to take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Tony Alavi.
Good morning.
I am Job International.
Job International.
I welcome you again. The issue that you are discussing today about Abba Kyari. The Abba Kyari issue is unfortunate because we have more of those things in the administration of this Buhari more than what you think. From Ganduje up to go to the Fabio, down to Amechi, all this one they named them on different scandals. Yet the presidency has not said anything. They talk about Fantemi supporting terrorism. Yes, the presidency came out and said they stood with him. They talk about the word of Wadume. Wadume says that he contributed 17 million naira to Buhari campaign. Buhari has not denied that, and many others. What I am trying to say here is that we have entered one chance in this Nigeria under APC and Buhari. The truth of the matter is that the capability to fight insecurity, to fight terrorism, to fight corruption, they doesn't have it. And they have put the Nigerian citizens on a very, very difficult situation. We can't go to farm. You can't sleep in your house. And the same people are now saying that they want to come back. Come back how? So the one of APC and PDP, you can't compare PDP and APC. The truth of the matter is that no matter how was the PDP, they saw it and they said they will correct it. Today when they came, their own has tripled. The issue there is that how can you come and buy rice 7,000 naira during PDP? The same rice is sold 34,000. And you are saying that APC and PDP have problems? APC are not even party. They are just the issue. They are just like an ideology. Say. And the issue of election in Abuja, let me correct somebody who has been blindfolded by religion. We are Nigerians. We are true Nigerians. We want Nigeria to be one. Buhari has succeeded in dividing Nigeria along religion lines.
Job International.
Yes, look at the appointment.
Stay with the
look
issues.
at all he gets.
Okay.
All from the same religion. And we're not taking, somebody's talking of religion.
All right, Job International, thank you. Lawrence, I'm getting something out of, from Job here, that this thing that we've talked about, DCP Abakari, is taking different dimensions and showing from different angles what could be the real problem. That this may just be one of the so many issues or problems that the country is faced with.
No, but absolutely, that's what it is. Look at Abakari as a human being. Don't forget, Abakari is a creation of the Buhari administration. I don't think that many people knew about Abakari before Buhari came. Since Buhari came that we said it. So if you look at, first of all, he was involved in internet scam. That's the first place he was mentioned. Now he's in drug cartel. The question is, where else? Apart from these two places, where else? The other question is, who else apart from him? We have seen him frolicking with people like Obi Kubana, who a lot suspects is a major drug baron in Nigeria. We have seen him frolic with other people. Now we have seen him attend even his boss's children's wedding and marriages as special guests. So what is the link? What is the chain? Nigerians need information, and that's why the presidency must act. This has damning consequences on the country. You are not just talking, you are talking about international crimes. Both allegations are international crimes. Whether it's internet crime, whether it's a drug crime, they are all international crime. There is no one that originates and terminates in Nigeria. They all originate in one other country and come to Nigeria or another country. So the president needs to speak before the international community start reaching conclusions, because they might come out with sanctions. They might begin to make it very difficult for people. People want to escape from Nigeria. People want to escape from Nigeria. And you cannot hold people down. You cannot be beating a child and be asking the child not to cry. So the government must make it easier for people to be able to, people who want to stay, people who want to go. But this kind of issues begin to put suspicion on every Nigerian that is seen abroad. And that is why the government must speak out. If there are linkages, if there are chains, government should announce them. Yeah, you heard the caller. There has been accusation that these guys funded the election. Come out and stay clean. If you were not part of it, get the people who were part of it. We saw Hush Puppy with some politicians in Dubai. We saw people paying him homage. So it's not just something that is one-off. It's something that is really linked. So the major problems we are facing in Nigeria is our political class, because they are the ones that swine and dine with criminals. So we need to get rid of this system. And the only way to get rid of this system is to build institutions that can live beyond the ones they cannot manipulate. They keep looking for ways to subvert. If you're a politician, you want to get something, all you need to do is get an Abakari. And by Abakari, I don't mean the person Abakari, but the many Abakaris in Nigerian system, whether it's in INEC, whether it's in police, whether it's in the army. We talked about, the audit talked about almost 200,000 weapons, guns that are missing in the police armory. Nobody is talking about it. Just in the police alone. Nobody is talking about it. Criminals are using guns, sophisticated guns. Then such sophisticated guns are missing from our armory. Where are the linkages? Where are the chains? So we need to speak up. The government needs to do more than it's doing now.
Okay. Just before we bring it to a close, some comments, from those facing us, going with on the Facebook page of 98.9. Let's get to hear some, Dorcas.
All right, we have a message from Sebastian Musa who says, "Good morning, watching you live from Maitama, Abuja. Tell Nigerians to go and renew their PVC so that 2023 can flush the bad leaders." We have another one from AY Plus who says, "Watching you live from Ayebode, Ekiti State."
Okay.
You are making sense, sir. Okay, we have Zachariah John Dam here who says, "Good morning to you all in the studio. Frankly speaking, PDP have not yet learned to play opposition. Maybe they are yet to come to terms with the current realities and challenges in the country. PDP don't even need to waste too much energy campaigning, but they have failed to put their house in order. Instead of them focusing on how to win the heart of the people back, they will be busy attacking APC instead of campaigning on trivial issues, while APC was focusing on how to win elections by all means. Until the PDP come to this reality, they will still struggle in 2023. We have another one from Emmanuel Efong. Emmanuel Efyong, sorry. "Good morning, sir. Beautiful topic. Keep it up." From Engineer Emmanuel. Have a blessed day. All right, thank you for sending in your messages.
Okay, and then we just wrap it up. Your last line, Lawrence.
Our country is broken. I've never felt as sad as I did yesterday. For people you should trust to make a difference, to be the ones that are being labeled black, is not something that should give any Nigerian joy. But this is just a snippet of what the country has become. So, if we want a future, it is time to talk. That's my closing line.
And that's about the size of it on the program Perspectives this morning. My guest has been Lawrence Obewe, the convener Reset Nigeria. And we looked at the DCP Abikari, involved in a drug ring, and of course, what to expect. We also looked at the PDP's showing in the elections in Abuja, and of course, what this may portend for the PDP come 2023. We thank you for staying with us, listening to us, and please, thank you for connecting us with the people. Wisdom, thank you for putting us in the pictures. We'll come back with Perspectives tomorrow. Good morning.